Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ya ayyuhal Muslimun. To the long-time listener and first-time visitor, we welcome you to this episode. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Alhamdulillah, hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fih, kama yuhibbu rabbuna wa yarda. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد يا عباد الله الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام والسنة. All praise and thanks belong to Allah for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the Sunnah. Ya ibadullah. This is a ni'mah that is azima. This is a bounty, a gift that is very tremendous. This is a big thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He guided us to Islam and He guided us to the Sunnah. This is a very precious, priceless gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has bestowed upon us. So it is incumbent that we utilize it to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to bring about benefit for the people. And of course, first and foremost, we utilize it to benefit ourselves and our families. Allah ta'ala, He says, قُوْ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِكُمْ نَارًا. Save yourself and save your family from the fire. So of course, we have to save ourselves. نعم بلا شك وبلا ريب. على كل حال, what we want to look at today is the Islamic teaching on feeding the poor. And if you look at the subtitle, it mentions faith in motion. Faith in motion. Naam. And I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind, inshallah ta'ala, because it is a major concept that we want to look at today and to have on our minds today, inshallah ta'ala. There comes a hadith عن Abdullah bin Amr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, where he mentions أن الرجل, that a man, سأل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that a man, he asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And again, I want to highlight that when we hear the questions that the Sahaba used to ask, it puts a lot of things into perspective. Okay? Because a lot of time it is as if we operate on what is the bare minimum I can do, and that's all I want to do. Like, we don't shoot for the stars. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a place for that, okay? I'm not saying that. There's a place for that. There's a place for that, to do the bare minimum, bithnillahi ta'ala, because that is what is within a person's capability. So, of course, we're not saying that to put that down, because we have questions that come from the Sahaba like that as well. Naam. So we're not trying to put that down. However, I want to highlight how many of the Sahaba, they used to ask these type of questions about. Let's see what he asked. He said, Ayul Islam khair. What is the best Islam? How many of the Sahaba used to ask these type of questions? What's the best? Because they want to shoot for the best, okay? So today, I want to speak to those individuals who have the ability to shoot for the high levels. I want to speak to those individuals who have the ability to shoot for what is the best. Naam. And for those who don't, then refer back to those ahadith that clearly explain and outline the bare minimum. Because a lot of us, we have an understanding, unfortunately, a lot of the Muslims today, they have an understanding of the bare minimum that is not actually the bare minimum. Their understanding of what is the bare minimum is in actuality well below the real bare minimum. So they're coming up short. They're not even doing the bare minimum. So it's important to know what is the bare minimum, so that if that's our level, we don't come up short. But at the same time, for those who have the ability to do more, this is what we want to talk about, okay? These are the people that we're talking to today. Those individuals who, like this Sahabi, they want to do what is the best. So they're looking, what is the best? They're trying to be the best, okay? So he asked, Ayul Islam khair? What is the best Islam? Now, as we know, the Prophet ﷺ, he would give different answers to different people. He would cater their answer to the individual that was asking. Okay? He would cater the answer to the individual that was asking. So we find different answers to these questions because each will be in accordance to the person that was asking it. All right? But in any event, in all of those ahadith that mention the best Islam, these are all characteristics of the best Islam. These are all characteristics that an individual has to adorn themselves with if they want to be from the best of the Muslims. Okay? Like the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said, "Min husn Islam al-mar tarkuhu ma la ya'nihi." That from a person's good Islam is that he leaves alone that which does not concern him. This is a characteristic from a good Muslim. So in order to be a good Muslim, you have to adorn yourself now with this characteristic and with other characteristics. Okay? So I want us to really understand this in depth and in detail, inshallah ta'ala. Ala kulli hal, he asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ayul Islamul khair? What is the best Islam? Meaning, what is the best deed that I can do in Islam? What are some of the best and most outstanding deeds that I can do as a Muslim? So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said unto him, تُطْعِمُ الطَّعَامِ. He said, feed the people. Feed the people. نعم. وَتَقْرَأُ السَّلَامِ. And give salams to the people. Feed the people and give salams to the people. When you see the Muslims, say, Assalamu alaikum. If you want to do better than that, then say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If you want to do better than that, then say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Naam. When you see the Muslim brothers and sisters, give the salams, brothers. Sisters, give the salams, sisters. Spread the salams. Naam, spread the salams. Don't be that individual that you as a man, you walk by your Muslim brother and you don't give him salams. You sister, don't be that sister that walks by your Muslim sister and you don't give her salams. Don't be that person. Don't be that individual who, when you see the Muslims out in public, you're scared to give salams. You don't want to give them salams. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't be that gal. Okay? Spread the salams. Now, there comes another hadith عن صهيب الرومي. صهيب الرومي رضي الله تعالى عنه. Excuse me. Let's go back. That first hadith that I mentioned, the hadith from Abdullah bin Amr, that hadith is collected in Bukhari and Muslim. Hadith muttafiqun alayh. This is from the strongest category of authentic narrations. Okay? Those are hadith that their authenticity has been agreed upon by both al-Bukhari and Muslim. So this hadith is authentic without any doubt. All right? Now, this hadith here from Suhaib al-Rumi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, خيركم, the best of you. Who is the best? خيركم من أطعم الطعام. The best of you is the one who they feed the people. They feed the people. And also what? وَرَدَّ السَّلَامِ. And they return the greetings. Okay? And this hadith is a hadith that is Hasan, and it could be found in Sahih al-Jami' وحسنه al-Albani. Okay? So this hadith, and what we benefit from this hadith is that in the first narration, we see that giving the salams, then this is what? This is from the best Islam, to give the salams. Okay? So now, does that mean that you don't have to return the salams? No. So the next narration from Suhaib al-Rumi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, this establishes the proof of what? And also returning the salams, returning the greetings. This is also what? From the good Islam. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that the best of you are those who feed the people and they return the salams. So we have to return the salams. When we see the person and the Muslim in the street and they give us salams, don't be that person that doesn't return the salams. Return the salams. Naam. Return the salams. Okay? There are many benefits in doing this. In fact, let's look at this first before we get into actually the meat of today's session. And from the benefits of returning the salams is that, one, we are abiding by and obeying Allah and His Messenger by giving the salams and returning the salams. Okay. Also, we are highlighting and showing a hallmark of Islam. And from the hallmarks of Islam is what? Is the salams. Is that we say assalamu alaikum and that we respond by saying wa alaikum assalam, so on and so forth, to the various ways and that we could give salams and return the salams. Okay. This is from the hallmarks of Islam. So this is something that we should spread, because you never know. You never know. And we're just saying ala sabili mithal, just as an example. You never know. There may be a person who was looking for Muslims. Maybe. There may be a person who was reading about Islam online, right? They were looking into where their local masajid are. They were looking for the Muslims. They were looking for the Muslims. And perhaps you're in the store one day. You're in the grocery store or what have you. And you see a Muslim. The Muslim sees you. And the both of you will engage in this hallmark of Islam by saying, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Naam. And then that person hears that. Maybe the next hour, whatever the case is, they hear that, maybe looking at a commodity, looking at some cookies, I don't know. And they hear the person give salam in the aisle, and they look up and they say, oh, excuse me, sir, excuse me, Muslim. I've been looking for Muslims because I want to learn more about Islam. We don't know. Allahu a'lam. Ala kulli hal, by spreading the salams and by extending the salams to each other, then we are establishing a hallmark of Islam. Also, in spreading the salams, it brings love. It is a miftah. It is a miftah for mawadda. It brings the love between the people. A person give you salams, you return the salams, you're going to love that person. As opposed to, you see a Muslim, they don't give you salams. This is not going to garnish any type of love, right? You give the salams to an individual, they don't return the salams. That's not going to make you love them. In fact, it's going to make you suspicious, like, yo, what's up with this person? I gave him salams, they didn't return my salams, but they don't like me. What is it? Is beef or something? I don't know. Because we know when we, from the means of boycotting, from the means of legislating boycotting of the Muslims when they're falling into error and things like that, is that what? Is that we don't return the salams. And we don't give them salams. Okay? That's from the means of boycotting a person when they're not doing what is correct. So this is a means what? This is to put some pressure on the person to reflect and to see what's going on and the like. Ala kulli hal, when we do spread the salams and everything is good, right? Everything is all good, it's all gravy, then this will bring love between each other because you're showing openness. There's no issues. It's open. Person gave me salams, I responded back to salams. I don't know this brother, but right, then they have the smile, practicing the sunnah, giving a smile, giving sadaqah, right? Then now this is an opportunity now. Get to know individual. MashaAllah, brother. Where you from? What's your name? To the end of it. Exchange contact information to the end of it. This opens the door for what? For a beautiful relationship. Whereas not spreading the salams, that door is shut. Wa'iyadhu billah. Ala kulli hal, many more benefits of spreading the salams, but that's not what I want to focus in on today. Bismillahi ta'ala. I want to focus in on what? Feeding the people. Feeding what? The people. This is important, and this is something that we do. So the ulama, they mentioned, في هذا الحديث, in this hadith, يبين النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he makes it clear to the people. Now, he makes it clear to the people. أي أعمال, which of the actions, خير, which of the actions are best? Which of the actions are best? What afdal? And which of the actions are what? Better than what? Than other of the actions. Because we know there's some actions that are better than other actions. Now, and what is meant here by feeding the people, this means feeding the people above what is the obligation, beyond the obligation. Okay, so alhamdulillah. So for example, zakatul fitr, in that we feed the people. This is something that is beautiful. However, we're talking, and this is enter into this as well, but the point is, what is really meant is that which is beyond this. A person can't say, well, I fed the people at the after Ramadan, so I'm good. I ain't gotta feed the people for the rest of the year. No, if you want to go above and beyond, you want to be from the best of the Muslims, then you want to feed the people all throughout the year. Bithnillahi ta'ala. So the ulama, they mentioned that this is what is meant by that. Yani iktharu min it'am al-nas at-ta'am, that we increase and we increase in feeding the people. We increase in feeding the people. Naam. طيب. And as aforementioned, يعني بقدر زائدا على الواجب. And we're talking about in an extent and to a degree that is beyond the obligation. Okay? على كل حال. In any event, we have to be of individuals who strive to feed the people. Because these two characteristics of spreading the salams and feeding the people, these are two characteristics that we can bring Islam outside of the confines of the masjid to the general people. Show them the beauty of Islam. Show them the beauty of Islam. I'll give you an example. True story. There was one time, myself and my co-worker, non-Muslim, we were traveling, right? So we stopped into a, what do you call it? A gas station that had a rest stop in it, right? And a, food market, what have you. So we went in there to get some food, get some chips, some snacks. I don't know, whatever the case is, but I know we was getting some snacks, some sweets, like this. So while we were in there, I saw a Muslim brother. He saw me, the way I was dressed, right? And so he knew I was a Muslim. I know, so he said, "Assalamu alaikum." I didn't take notice to him at first. So when he said "Assalamu alaikum," of course, raised my attention. So I looked at, "Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullah." He had to smile. We smiled at each other. We shook each other's hands. And he embraced each other like long lost brothers who haven't seen each other in years. Then we got on to talk. How you doing, mashallah? What you doing up this way? You live out here? Like this. Small talk. Anyway, it was such a pleasant and beautiful thing. It really brought joy to me, right? One of the highlights of that particular day for me, meeting this brother. After I met him, he went his way and things like that. I went my way. My co-worker, he witnessed the whole exchange. So he said, "Wow, man, I didn't know you know somebody out here." Because we were pretty far from, our towns. We were pretty far. So he said, "Wow, I didn't know you knew people out here." I said, what are you talking about? He said, that guy you just met. I didn't know you have friends out here. I said, "Oh, I don't know him. I just met him right now." But that's how the Muslims are with one another. That's the love we have for one another. Because that was dawah. It was dawah for him. You know what I mean? But he was taken aback. He was astonished. He was astonished by this. So anyway, when we spread the salams like this, we bring this beauty of Islam outside of the masjid. Likewise, when we feed the people, we bring the beauty of Islam outside of the masjid. And this is something that is tremendously important, that we do this, that we bring the beauty, we show the people the beauty of Islam. And from the ways that we can show the beauty of Islam, one, that's for free, spreading the salams. Secondly, that's not that expensive actually, is to what? Feed the people. We have to be of those who feed the people so we can show the beauty of Islam outside of the masjid, okay? And this is something that is important. And it brings us to another point. And that is that point, old heads, old school from the Northeast, you familiar with this. We always used to have this mentality of, man, don't talk about it, be about it. That was the mentality of the old heads. The young generation, I don't know. But this was the mentality of the people from my generation. Don't talk about it, be about it. You have to be about it, okay? One of the ways of being about it is that we do things like this, is that we have programs inside of our masajid to feed the people. This is important. Because if not, then what? We just in the masjid sharing the likes of these hadith, going over the like of these classes, and then we're not moving on it. We're not acting in accordance to it. We all talk. Is that it? We just all talk? Come on. That doesn't make any sense. We can't be people that's just all talk. That's not, we don't do it like that. Now, for the naysayers, because I know we got some naysayers out there, some people that are always, negative, always negative. Anything you say, they bring you a million reasons why you can't do it. Everything you mention, they want to find the reasons it can't be done. Now, listen, there's not a single thing except that it has, from the efforts and things we try to do, except that it has its pros and its cons. There's not a single thing except it's going to have its challenges, right? They're going to be reasons that, they're going to be hurdles, okay? They're going to be obstacles Not necessarily things that will, shut us down from from the start, from the gate, but they're going to be things that are going to be obstacles, okay? But every time something comes up, you have individuals who all they do is mention the obstacles. That's it. They just mention the obstacles. Let me tell you something. Problems are easy to identify. Any fool, any idiot, any moron could look at a building that is leaning and say, that building is leaning. I mean, that's clear. We see the problem. Come with the solution. Where's the solution? How do we get it to stand erect? How do we get it to stop leaning? Bring me the solution. I can see the problem. I'm not stupid. Anybody can see the problem, but give me a solution how it could be done. So to the naysayers, yo, just go somewhere. Really, go somewhere. Everybody already understands the obstacles. We talk about feeding the people. We know it costs money. We know we have to store the food somewhere. We know we know to the end of it. So get lost, man, with pointing out the obvious. We don't need your we don't need your 2 cents. Go somewhere with that. We know the obvious. Bring solutions. Bring solutions. We're looking for people who's going to bring solutions, okay? So for the naysayers out there, because I know the naysayers are going to be, oh, well, we can't establish no food bank and we can't establish mass feeding of the people and things like that. It doesn't always have to be to that level. What about feeding the members of your community? What about feeding the members of your community? What about taking a list of the people in your community that are in need and feeding them? You mean to tell me you don't already have extra food in your pantry that you already bought? So money, the cost is not an issue because you already bought it. You already bought it. You got noodles in your pantry that's been sitting there for a year, been sitting there since last Ramadan. You mean to tell me, these are noodles, right? You mean to tell me you can't take those noodles and give them to a family in need? You mean to tell me that? Huh? You're that pitiful? You're that pathetic? You can't do that? And I'm saying this like this because I'm talking to the naysayers. Naysayers, go somewhere. Naysayers, go somewhere, please. Because you're not helping anything. You yourself have become another obstacle. So get out the way. Either help or get out the way. I can't be no clearer than that. Anyway, it's easy things. When we go shopping, it's a sale, right? Buy one, get one free. Okay, buy one, get one to give away. You got it free anyway. You didn't need it. You only needed one. But it was a BOGO, buy one, get one. So you got it. Give the second one away. Or have the second one, give the second one to the master. Say, hey, look, add that to the pantry of what we give away for to the people who need it. Canned goods. They're not expensive. You can't buy extra canned goods when you go shopping. How many times you go shopping and they tell you that it's a sale, you get 10 cans of soup for whatever price. You can't get 10 cans of soup. You ain't going to eat all that soup. You can't get 10 cans of soup and at least give half of it away. Get 5 cans away. Add that to the pantry. So if somebody come and eat some food, at least they get some soup. So get some soup and noodles. I mean, it's not rocket science. So I'm not talking about going out there and feeding the whole community, feeding the people, have people lined up, you know what I mean, in line to get food from your masjid. Those masajid that can do that, do that. Those masajid that can't, at least you better be feeding your own community. At least you better be feeding your own community. Because this is from the characteristics of being a good Muslim, okay? So we have to strive to feed the people so that the people have something to eat. We can't leave the needy off to themselves and now they got to start eating people's pets. I'm saying that, yeah, really, it's absurd. It's absurd. Nobody's eating people's pets, okay? Nobody is stealing cats and dogs and eating up cats and dogs. It's not happening, as far as what I know. And Allahu Ta'ala knows best, because you never know. But as far as I know, Allahu Ta'ala knows best. Nobody's eating people's pets, man. That's just absurd. That's bizarre. That's some strange stuff. But in any event, there has been actual reports, and I mentioned that as a segue to mention this. There has been actually reported. There has been actually reported and seen and witnessed situations where people have been so impoverished and in such a desperate situation that they had to resort to eating pet food. This is something that has been known, that people have actually had to eat dog food because they were so poor. Okay? As a community, now I'm not saying Muslims were doing this. I'm not saying that, because I don't think any Muslim will eat no dog food. But the point is that it's been known that people were so poor they had to eat dog food. Not eating the dog, but eating dog food. We have to be of a people, especially the Muslims, especially those who have extra. Now, don't tell me you don't got an extra. When you go to Juyaanee, you see that parking lot? Do you see that parking lot in Juyaanee? Huh? Do you see that parking lot? You see Benzes, you see BMWs, you see Land Rovers, you see Jeep Cherokees and all of them. You down to Toyota Corollas and so on and so forth. Okay, go from all the way high down. Okay, no problem. That don't matter. If you can afford a Toyota Corolla, you can afford a car and expenses of a car. You can buy some cans of soup. You can buy some bag of beans. You can buy an extra bag of rice and give it away to somebody, so these people don't have to eat dog food. They don't got to eat cat food. I don't know if he's eating cat food, but whatever, maybe. You can do that. So we have to be of a people who strive to be the best of the people. We have to be of a people who strive to be the best Muslims we can possibly be. خياركم من أطعم الطعام ورد السلام. The best of you are those who feed the people, and those who return the salams and give the salams. And with that, I bid you a farewell. استودعكم الله إلا اللقاء. Till the next time we meet. استودعكم الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.